Welcome back. We're here to do the twin flame update. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology, soul coaching, and more. And yes, we have changed the schedule. So some of you might have noticed that you in the public did receive your content earlier. So we're trying to get both the members content given to them the same day that you get your edition to the public. So as you are receiving those, you can get the next editions within the member zone. I also do have in their community tab the schedule to receive the next super chats, the dates that we're going to be hosting them. I did mention that this month we will be having a bonus super chat to the public. I haven't scheduled it yet, and that's because we are in the eclipse energy, and I feel it's important, especially during Mercury retrograde, to really select that day where it's not going to be clashing with anything, especially because my zodiac sign is directly impacted by these eclipses. I need to be mindful of schedule transformations. We are going to be doing a webinar tonight. Still undecided whether it's going to be live or whether, if it does become hidden, it's because I'm pre-recording it. If it isn't, regardless, it still will be either premiered at that time or directly live at that time, and I'll be on. So I'm unsure how it's going to be. So if suddenly it goes missing, don't freak out. You're still going to get it. I may just be, in fact, recording that. For those of you that don't know, I do cover astrology, holistic approaches to dealing with your ascension. I am also a twin flame. And I think that's quite key for those of you really seeking your guidance through your path. So wherever you are, I give you your ascension report. I give you energy and how to deal with it, especially being a psychic medium. I try to give you the relevant information so that you can move through portals with your ascension process. I'm actually co-creating at the moment some webinars that more classes that I'm going to be developing over the next 6 to 12 months that will be hosted both on YouTube as an information video, and it can be transitioned and you can directly get it via the website, and sit courses and classes that can be quite short to the point with information and resources to help you through your ascension process, and a myriad of spectrums of subjects I'm going to be covering. Also, pre-warned, we are going to be changing at some point the name of the channel, and that's because the direction the channel is going in is really going to be covering a whole lot more than just readings. It is going to be astrology, it is going to be psychic energy, anything down to all of the occult wisdom I've learned over, oh gosh, the 40 odd years of my life, and really condensing it down to bite-sized pieces. And I do especially feel those that do work in the spiritual community are going to be going through a spiritual shift. And that is because next year we're going to have the North Node in Pisces. And I do believe that we're going to need a lot more practitioners really helping individuals going through their awakening at that point in time. Now, this portal, we're going to pull a rune cast. We're going to be having a look at some of the subjects coming up and how to actually navigate this transit. A lot of you could be really wanting the dirty gossip as to what is going on with your twin, which I'm not to say that that energy won't come through. During the eclipse, I would be very careful doing anything, okay? And that is down to channeling, meditation. It's really strange, especially being a psychic medium and understanding frequencies and how situations work, because they are direct portals. Really good time to detox, not a great time to open portals as per se. But we are going to be going into some of that information inside of the Aries eclipse update that will be happening tonight, Green's mention time. The reason I say that is because our psychic energy is going to be quite open. We are going through a clearing and an opening in a sense of a portal. This also is quite a large eclipse relating to masculine energy and the transformations that they directly personally are going through, but also within the masculine attributes of our life. Interestingly enough, if you were to pull your chart up, wherever you have Mars in your chart is somewhere where you might have an expectation based upon a masculine energy, but it is there to integrate within our own lives. Ironically enough, Aries in Chiron directly is making very hard aspects this month, but it's helping us heal and clear those energies. We will want to go down the rabbit hole of escapism. So you can get very tired. you can get to a point that, you know, the difficulties that we directly are dealing with in Mercury retrograde are causing great frustration. And from a psychological point of view, especially, we do have Mars in the house of Pisces until about the 30th. So that is, or Mars wants to move, you know, and wants to go, it wants to get things done. And the house of Pisces, it's doing two things. It's funny because it's slowing it down to think. It's apprehensive to get in and to do things because it is quite a psychological house. So we're looking at situations in our life that maybe are burning us out, where we've been delusional or where we've been angry. And it's going to take a little bit of time. And so if you do find you're rushing in my angel's fair to tread, it is better to flow with this energy than to push situations, because we are both moving into the eclipse tomorrow, as well as getting to a space that we are trying to integrate. We've got solar flares that are going to be coming in, big changes with the sun energy at this point in time. And our bodies are going to get very worn down. Now, can your nervous energy kind of peak up at this point? 100%. Navigating them is the zodiacs they're going to find, especially in your twin flame path. This is going to directly impact your ascension. You will find Leo and Cancer zodiac signs can find eclipses very intense. And you want to give yourself a leeway of a 3-day portal. And so that can be 3 days moving into the eclipse, 3 days moving out. Bear in mind that logic can return for you, but really your agitation. So being very self-aware during that, you know, if you're getting into the ego and wanting to know what's coming up next, you're going to have to be very patient with yourself, very patient with, you know, your desires and your hopes. Everything's taking a lot longer through this. It is going to transition. Not a good time during the eclipse to do guided meditation. Why is that? Because from a psychic perspective, you directly are opening up your third eye. You're opening up your crown chakra. And within any portal, especially if you're doing any mediumship or you're working with your twin energy, if your aura is depleted and you're opening up your crown chakra, you are more susceptible to psychic attacks. Because what happens in a portal setting when you are opening up your crown chakra, if you're not stabilized and your aura is not strong, you're going to get both polarities coming in. You're going to get dark energy, you're going to get light energy, and you're going to need to detox. So you can accidentally embody quite a negative vibration more so. So doing any sessions with Reiki or any healing work during that time, you're probably best to move away from that date and to allow that person more from a communication point of view. You could do some healing work and then protect your aura, and then you can move into it after the fact, because what's going on is an upgrade and a downgrade. We're detoxing and purging situations out. We're having this new beginning. So within your twin flame path, you will energetically be entangled together. So you can pick up on their vibration. It could be at the eclipse to stay very centered, to stay very present. Psychic attacks and picking up on their energy is very possible, but you may need to calm that frequency by getting into a grounded state and knowing that after that it's going to be more settled. But it can be quite an intense portal for all twin flames. So that would be my advice to you. Keeping your fluid up. Great time as of today, as of where you are right now. If you haven't cleared your house before the eclipse hits, try to do a clearing. Now, if you can't physically clean everything, the key points I would do would be cleaning your windows and your mirrors. The other thing I would do, hi sweet, is smudging your house and doing a crystal grid. If you don't have all the crystals you need, the one thing you could do is put a bowl of water under your bed with salt. The other thing that you directly can do is get some tourmaline or onyx. I wouldn't necessarily use amethyst because it does open up your crown chakra, but you would want to be clearing at least one physical environment. And if you can't get the whole house done, you know, you can do it in the next coming days, but definitely smudging would be the first point of call, a guided meditation to clear your home. And if you have to go out into the world and you have to go out and about, I would directly do what you got to do, come home, do your shower, recharge by keeping hydrated, and try to keep away from pacifiers. We can get to a space that we are using things to cope, but it's only going to deplete us even further. Resting as well. If that means just sitting and getting away from white noise for a bit and sleeping, do such. After that, what you can do is your guided meditations, your upgrading, your clearing, but things are going to be moving very fast. So that would be my best tips for you guys during this process, because this week, the next 2 weeks can be intense. The other thing is the signature for this eclipse and what is going on in your twin flame path is going to be quite big and transformative. It can be both tower moments and building up a new beginning, and the star card in tarot. So we're going to get both. We're going to get the yin to the yang with this polarity. Brand new beginnings in our lives. Now, do also look to the points in your chart of Aries and Libra. I would also look to Pluto at the moment is really giving me a lot of signatures, and I will talk about that in the webinar tonight. But we're going to get into the read. Okay, so the ruin cast we have, you can chat amongst yourselves. Feel free to ask any questions as we're transitioning through. Oh, God, that's very uncommon to come across the ruin cast inside the book straight away. Okay, so what is it saying? And the last time, and I did say the binding on this book is going to go soon. So with our ruin cast, it is in reverse. And it is looking to the past, which makes sense. We can really be spiritually within our twin flame path, within our own energies in our life. Whoever you are cross-watching, you're still going to get the energy update. It is a body of water and lake, the meaning. So deep emotions, especially when a moon's involved, and it is an Aries. So we can be quite agitated. We can feel quite psychologically burnt out. We can feel offended by situations, but we also can feel the frequency of both yin to the yang, and it's going to be positive and negative. The tree is willow, herb, leek, and it's funny, I was just saying to my daughter, all I'm feeling like really, it's almost like you're not going to really know what you feel like to consume. Your body is always going to tell you what is going on in your ascension process. So it could get to a state where you're thinking that you're wanting something quite light. You're wanting to detox and purge, especially as we do move to the next moon, which is going to be in the house of Scorpio. Detoxing, checking the use-by dates on food, not going into heavy eating, because things are going to become quite heavy in our gut. Okay, astrology, ironically enough, moon. Element water. It's not water, but it is relating to emotions, okay? So, esoteric. On the mundane level, journey across water, imagination, intuition, artistic creativity, and fluidity. Mars currently is in the house of Pisces, so it is very psychic, okay? And we can pick up on masculine energy. Soul journey, psychic powers, initiator of dreams. Reversed, fear of change and procrastination. The crazy thing is, what we can find at this point in time is there's deep spiritual challenges. We are perplexed by situations going on, both within our twin flame path and within our life. And those that do move into union, and I've said this a lot of the healing that you do, when you are integrating and you move into that reconciliation, you're then implementing all those lessons and you're moving beyond the wound. And Aries and Chiron does stay there a lot longer. So spiritually at this point in time where you are in your twin flame path, you're clearing a lot. And you can be saying to yourself, gosh, is there any more purgatory experiences to experience? Why is this coming up for me? It's all for your destiny moving forward, but it is to free you. It's almost like getting out of chastity, getting out of the space where you are feeling spiritually, psychologically, mentally entangled in drama. So when you do go into that union state, you can get triggers every day because you are also spiritually aware and you're what would I say? And you're checking yourself. You're like, no, I'm doing something differently. I acknowledge the wound, but I'm doing something differently. Okay, and so you inadvertently teach each other, and spiritually, even if you are in not communication right now, it doesn't mean to say the healing isn't happening, and it doesn't mean to say that it's not directly impacting the both of you. This can be a challenging ruin cast, indicating a strong test of resolve and no quick solution because we have to go through this energy portal. Am I looking forward to it? No, I'm not. So keep your nerves. I wouldn't be surprised if third eye activation's coming through, and a lot of people are getting headaches at the moment because I'm telling you, the intensity, it's almost like tapping is actually going to clear that vibration because we're purging an element of ego, but our intuitions are on fire at the moment. There can be a lot of psychic downloads, there can be a lot of information coming in, and it's like, what thing do I deal with right now? Sometimes less is more, and it can be that the challenges that you're looking at, you're like swimming up a mountain, so to speak, and like, how am I going to get to that portal? What you need to understand is this is temporary, and we acknowledge our own frustrations in these circumstances. It is going to be alleviated, but it's like a pressure test, and it is to push out what no longer resonates with us to bring in what does and what's necessary. And sometimes our ego involved in the situation is saying, no, but that's not what I asked for from universe. And it's almost like, even if it doesn't look like it, at the end, it's actually getting you to your destination a lot quicker. So if your desire, for instance, is to reconcile with your twin, you would be surprised how that comes through in a very synchronistic dynamic. And so it's almost like if you've asked your guides to help you, what could look like a very ugly non-goer situation is actually the solution, and it brings it to you a lot quicker. So try to trust that process. Our egos, however, are going to get involved. Okay, so we'll reread this because I've mulled over that a bit too long. This can be a challenging ruin cast, indicating a strong test of resolve with no quick solution. It does indicate that you are in possession of a worthy vessel, so your body can cope with this. Have you ever said to yourself, and I guarantee you have, if I purge any more, I don't think I could do this again. I don't think, is there anything more to purge? So keep your nerves, because you do resurrect yourself out of it, and you're like, wow, I feel a lot lighter after that. How the heck did I get through that? And it's almost like it no longer defines you. It is a healing. It's a great healing. It's like a sponge being squeezed out. Set a good course, and all should be well. On an esoteric level, the casting of this rune may indicate that the quadrant is about to experience a great journey of the soul. Now, we could theoretically deem this as the hero's journey, especially with conjunctions that are occurring at this point in time. It is where we are moving into a new chapter. We definitely, within our twin flame path. Hi, Deb. How are you doing, love? We definitely do have some changes happening with all masculine energies collectively, but this also is going to come to a point where we directly are changing our viewpoints, our forgiveness. We are being ushered in to look at situations and see that hurt people, and how directly can we break that cycle? How can we shift that situation so we directly can have a transformation in that area? Now, forgiving doesn't mean that you are saying that what occurred was okay. It's that when we know better, we do better, and we're not carrying that like baggage. We're being open to it with a loving heart in a different way with healthy boundaries. We are also willing to call ourselves out when we are acknowledging something that's coming up, and we're saying, hey, I know I need to do X, Y, and Z, but in fact, I'm not at a fair. And it's about, letting go of the fear, challenging the fear, moving into it so it no longer defines us, and doing something differently, because we're wanting to break that chain and that cycle. Pain and struggle may precede the soul to re-emerge into the light. Reversed, the fear of commitment, fear of change, disappointment, and failure. So we're doing a lot of healing relating to that within our spiritual communities, within our twin flame path, within our auras. And trust is a big thing, but the thing is, we need to learn to trust ourselves. And it's like, okay, instead of actually taking leaps and bounds, very Jupiter, can we take bite-sized steps? Can we take small steps that are actually evolving and transforming this? And generally speaking, Divine Feminine, as you're transforming, it is inadvertently transforming in Divine Masculine's life. So the work that you're doing does actually interact in their aura as well, because you do have a spiritual interlinking there. So there is a transformation. Both parties here are very feeling very tense. I'm also noticing with my twin flame that when we're having the solar flares coming in, the energy occurring, I'm actually asking the pivotal questions within my union and saying, hey, you know, are you feeling that energy? Are you feeling tired? What's going on with you? Both of us have actually observed how health has been something that's been quite big, and it has been to do with our auras, how we're using our frequency, how we're needing to recover our bodies. And that can be from a diet, nutrition, rest point of view, and how the solar cycles directly are impacting us. So I'm noticing for them, it's happening about 2 to 3 days later. For me, you know, as an energy healer and a psychic medium, it's happening about 2 weeks. But that it is coming closer and closer. So directly as we're moving towards this eclipse, they are going through upgrades. If we were, and I always use this analogy, you know, it's almost like screaming at a patient and saying, you know, to get your shit together. And they're like, all I can have is food, water, and shelter at this point. I'm undergoing a reconstruction. You know, what do you want from me? So the way both parties are going to interact, if you can be observant and protect your aura and have empathy of this upgrade, that can be quite a tower moment for either or. You're going to navigate it better. But this is a big portal for shifts and changes. Now, what we can see also is those that are in a relationship that is not meant for them at this point in their spiritual path that can break down. So that can relate to moving house, moving jobs. It can be separations from tribe. Changes happening in a tribal unit, especially because it is moon, the change in trajectory of the direction of their life, the sun, that also is going to be eclipsed out and eclipsed in. So something is going out in the sense of their direction and something is coming back in. But definitely families, a physical environment they're living, transformations that are happening in the way they are interacting, and a lot of reflection, a lot of psychic energy, and bitter pills to swallow in a sense of truth. So this can relate to divorces, reconciliations even, and really navigating through that. So where you can see this popping off can be very instantly. We also could have seen it over the last month to 2 months because eclipses come in sets. The other thing is the next eclipse in this set doesn't happen until 2031. So what does that mean? Whatever movement and steps you're taking, this is going to be long term. This is going to be long standing. And so the transformation not necessarily has to happen overnight, but every step you take is a brand new chapter. Hi, Cece. So quite large, but we will mention that tonight on the eclipse update. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, we're trying to be rational. We're trying to be rational in the twin flame path. And I've said this 100 times. In spiritual connections, you are both earthly matter and 5 and 6D. There's a spiritual upgrade. There's portals opening. Trying to be rational can be ego, because the ego, you know, the mind is the rational source, right? It wants to control the environment. It wants to control the way you're relating to things. I also feel there's been an upgrade spiritually. This can be a spiritual upgrade in the way you're doing things. It can be some gifts that are coming through to you. They're going to be different. But also with the information potentially that you've received here or on any other video, really digest it and go, okay, what is the best course of action at this point in time? What do I need to do with this circumstance? I also feel masculine is trying to do this within the joint connection. There could be some choices that they're making that they're having to be deeply realistic about, especially if they have been going left and right, which is a huge process within healing, and accepting the fact that maybe we have a spiritual connection with an individual. We might have made our bed somewhere else. We might need to clean up shop. How are we going to address that? How do we go from point A to point B? And the thing is, a lot of times we're walking that tight tightrope. We're walking on both sides because we don't want anyone to lose out. We don't want to maybe be the bad guy. We don't want to maybe miss out on an opportunity. And I do feel this is a portal for reconciliations, because I definitely feel that if there's been unfinished business within individuals, it's going to return so it can be healed and cleared, and then the choice for that movement forward will occur. Sometimes that can come through in very unusual ways. Okay, so again, something from the past is creating upheaval. You also, as in your twin flame path, can be feeling that upheaval. You also could be feeling a lot of psychic energy, getting a lot of psychic downloads that you are feeling in the globe and within your own life as a seed is directly transforming. So there's lots coming up. There is a lot of, how do I put it? It's almost like both parties do value each other, but both parties could be looking in at each other with the value systems at the moment and being a little bit perplexed. Try to get down to that balance, because the two eclipses and how it's directly impacting you, especially through the tarot. Sometimes what we do accidentally do to protect ourselves, because it's a human experience, is I am worthy, and it can almost tilt the scale to the point it moves into self-righteousness and protectiveness. It's like an unmanageable kind of level, and so it's honestly healthy to acknowledge the fact that you're worthy, but not to get to a space that we lower our standards, or to get too high, but just to keep it there where we still can be open to potentials, but not necessarily put up the Great Wall of China, if that makes sense. What we're wanting to do is try and create that balance. Yeah, a lot of purging that's going to come out, but it is pushing us in a direction of clearing and healing. This can be anything down to people projecting towards the twin flame path. You feeling, jealousy, you feeling almost that the eye is on you. And like I said, it's a great time to spiritually protect yourself. You can be channeling and picking up. Now, if you are getting this through in the 4D, and you are not in communication with this individual, it can be that you're picking up on the psychic energy of the external individual being jealous of you, whoever and with whatever they are involved with at this point in time that you could deem as a karmic cycle. This, I do feel, is external sources. Can it be us? Can it be us within the journey and misunderstandings and, picking up on it? I do feel at times masculine is feeling that's coming from you, but I also feel they're feeling this at this point in time. And it's like we're wanting to move forward. It's the deep frustration of this. But I do feel by healing these wounds, be it it's to do with our confidence, and if we were important, if we are important, what that would look like, what it would come through. The spiritual connection is the spiritual connection. It cannot be broken. Some of you could be giving, and it's hard to say this because I've done this myself. It's almost like we could be paranoid that we're going to hear something that maybe is going to, really ruin, make it worse than it already is. And there could be this superstition, this paranoia, this rabbit hole that we're going down at this point in time. That we are feeling, is it going to be the hay that breaks the, the haystack? Is it going to be the needle that breaks the haystack? And that's kind of the analogy I've been given. There could be some information. Yeah, I'm just hearing information and gossip. This is also another portal that can be going on. We do have Mercury retrograde. This can be to do with dirty little secrets, situations. I'm also seeing wow, okay. Individuals that are in no longer alignment with the circumstance that is karmic in nature, if it has been hidden, it's like it's going to come out. And what I'm getting is, and I saw this the other day with an individual, and it's funny that it's coming through in the reading. Initially, when we are having an acceptance inside ourselves that something has changed, it is quite internalized, very Pisces. It's up in the subconscious mind. Have you ever noticed how later you could be observing an individual and it's literally written all over their face and everybody can see it? The distaste and the person's attitude, just the attitude in the face, the distance that is caused. They could be in a relationship that's, has turned quite karmic. And it's like it is on the face. It can't be hidden. The upset, of that is quite upset. It's a long list. Okay, it is a very long list. I do see this changing though. I see this physically changing, but I feel it's almost like moving beyond the veil of a lie. Oh, wow. Okay. There is going to be a pushback, and for some reason, this is coming through that this could be a circumstance in both parties' lives. I am picking it up quite significantly on the side of divine masculine. I feel that if there is a pushback and there is an individual that is really being quite pushy, manipulative, jealous, insecure, they're actually ruining their own karmic cycle on their own. I do get also this pushback with individuals where we are wanting to be seen and unique in our own light, not wanting to pussyfoot around situations. I do see this pushback. I see initially spiritual individuals and twin flames being quite protective and feeling this vibration. It can be collective consciousness. I do also see this aggression, and some of you psychically can be picking up that there can be some aggression that's going to pop off. I think you're going to navigate it. The message that is coming is that, yes, and we saw this through the rune cast. You might need to navigate that with caution. It could be walking into a drama-filled situation. But if you're using your intuition and you're picking up on the vibrations with the dynamic, with your twin flame path, with circumstances in the weeks coming, they're actually saying if you navigate this correctly, you are actually going to succeed. Oh gosh, I feel on both sides there are going to be individuals coming back, and this can be really bizarre, especially for divine feminine. I would not be surprised if you do on this occasion, because I feel this is a very big portal that is closing and a very big portal that is opening. So there can be a lot of people from our past coming back post eclipse and through this month moving into May that are wanting to reach closure, that are wanting to close a chapter in some shape or form. This can be them returning to you, and it could be to reconcile, but it ends up not being about that. It ends up being about a healing that was required. And it can be a sentence that is said. It's something that is breaking that chain. And I'm just seeing cord cutting. And I did mention that a few weeks ago. So it's interesting that this is coming through in a channeled message. These cord cuttings were closing doors because they're no longer defining us. They're no longer holding us back. We're trying to send that love and light out in the blessings. It could have been gratitude thoughts that were coming up with. It could have been like a memory that you had with somebody and suddenly it's like, yeah, that was a great time, but that's not who I am right now. And so it's clearing it both on the 4D. It's clearing it also on the 3D. And we are moving forward. Okay, old wounds, real old wounds to do with betrayals, to do with rights and relationships, which makes sense because Mars is there. It's like rights and relationships, who was right, who was wrong, getting into the nitty and gritty of it, washing it out. They're being ever so matter of fact when it does come to betrayals of the past. Now, sometimes it can be the betrayals that we have to ourselves because we know we need to do something, but we're not doing anything. It doesn't have to be something of an intimate nature, but they are showing me to do with, the things we cheat ourselves out of in our life. Is it, oh, well, I was going to put this on hold because of my twin flame path and I needed to go do X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is, wherever we spiritually feel we're cheating ourselves, we're calling ourselves out. Universe is activating that code for us. It's transforming us in some shape or form. It is going to be bigger. It's going to be grander, but it's don't bite off more than you can chew. Be careful. I also feel there's a huge assessment going on here to do with your future, with your spiritual path, And it's almost like it's a stock take. I'm saying a physical stock take because you're kind of looking to the trajectory of the future, and what you're really wanting is success, and you're mulling over, how do I achieve that? How do I do that? Because you're sort of saying, if you keep on the way it is right now and keep doing everything exactly the same, the cause and effect inevitably can be bad luck, and that's not what you're directly wanting. So I feel as though both masculine and feminine here relating to your own physical situations that directly are impacting the intimate relationship of a potential, you're wanting to shift that in some shape or form. There's an evolution and a shift, and that can be the purge that is happening directly as the shift. But it also could be an actual action that is being required here to physically shift this to open doors. Okay, they're asking you to set your eye on the target. There is a huge worry here. Divine Feminine keeps going back to this thought of, how do I put it? Is this going to repeat again? The first question you need to ask yourself, if a door and a portal opens, and this is the best way to navigate it, especially when we're triggered and we've got a lot of history with the person, there's been a lot of hurts. The best question I can ask you to ask yourself, which I've done myself, and it's the only thing that kept me sane, was if a person came back with the term correct, are you, with that energy and vibration, open to trying again? And I'll ask you the question, if this person returned to you in a different way, would you be ready to take a chance? Because it's a question. While we're mulling over that, the funny thing that's coming through in a channeled message is some of us are looking to the past and looking to the future like a pendulum swinging, and we're still intuitively feeling powers taken from us, which it was. But we're co-creating that in the future timeline because we're intuitively projecting that into the future, which inadvertently is bringing that back down into the energy. So the thing where you can actually block that from manifesting is to say to yourself the clearest image and picture away from your ego of what you think could happen because of all the blocks you are aware of. Now, I'll give you an example. It could be that you are physically seeing a person could be in a karmic relationship. A person could be in a karmic job. A person's mindset may not be evolving and shifting. Now you need to go to the polar opposite of that. And who's the energy? And I know they transcended a while ago. I've forgotten the name of this individual. And they do channel psychic energy. Although one thing I can say, do you know the person I'm talking about? She's passed now. Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon, I do believe, is very psychic. I also, you can tell by the energy, understood psychology very, very well. And use both polarities with the human mind to give channeled messages, but also to help the individual receive. Now, from a portal point of view, Dolores Cannon would look at this situation and say, what you're putting into the ethers is what you're fearing, but what you inevitably will co-create. So how can we change that vibration? And it is similar to manifestation, but it's going into the ease of the situation. It's about looking into it with a blank page. Hi, Sweet. Looking into it with a blank page, and that's your highest potential. And although the monkey mind, what it can do is it can put you here. I can draw, okay? I do have drawings, but we're going to make this real 101 simple. We're going to put a human being here, and the X is the target, and the pen's dying on me. The X is the target, right? And what we spiritually do is we put all the pebbles and, to get to this target, we visually can see the obstacle course, the lightning, the thunder, the boxes, the pebbles, right? Now, how do you redo that? How do you redo that? Zen 101. You re-image that and you place the destination in the heart like you are there. You're teleportating yourself. And everything else that you saw in the first image, you take away and you let universe resolve that. You're like, universe, yeah, okay, it could be a person's job. Okay, so name some things that you feel, and we're going to ditch them to the ethers. It could be the person's physical location. It could be the mental entanglement. It could be a tower moment they need to experience in order to get to it. And it seems messy. It seems like a lot of work because we're moving into Gaia energy, right? We're like, oh, God, how would I move all of this? Well, what you do is go, I don't even know where to start. That is what you give to Gaia. You can write it down if you need to. Could we do burning ceremonies? We could, but, it's a fire sign with this eclipse. I don't think we need to start fires. So spiritually cast it into the wind psychologically. So what you're going to do is you're going to image this, all of those issues, any cord cutting you do. Then you're going to move into this. You're going to get grounded. You're going to picture the destiny in your heart. You're going to go, okay, best possible outcome. Feels great. Everything's perfect. Nothing's perfect, but you get my vibe. It's like it's flowing. It's interlinking. We're merging. And you need to hold this space. And whenever you come back to this trigger, you have to say to yourself, is that within my power? No. If this is something to do with your twin and their side of the fence, it's not within your power. Now, if it's vice versa, you're going to do this vice versa. First, I'll explain it from the masculine. You spiritually can have this not just in the 5D, and this is what you've got to get out of your heads. We go into the 5D and we're like, but it's really good there. But subconsciously, we still have a blockage. Why is that? Because we believe we can't have it in the 3D, and both exist. The dream can be the reality, but we have to believe it. Not just in the 5D where it's safe and cushy and all things are perfect. Because what happens is the monkey mind brings all the dramas back in, and then that is the 5D and that is the 3D. And we're wanting to eliminate that from the 3D. So how do we do that? We acknowledge the trigger, Aries and Chiron. We give it to Gaia, right? And we get grounded and we move into the space that we have the tools we need. And the biggest, highest polarity we desire is here. Now, if this is on divine feminine side, because what happens? You're picking up psychically on the blockages. They're panicking about it. You're psychically getting the frequency. Then it starts affecting your aura. Now, if this is on your side of the fence, if you shift it and you're doing that right, if you're picking up the psychic energy and it's coming through, what happens is this calms that energy down and they turn into that. And I know because I've done it myself with those that I have coached into union and with those that were coached through their ascension. And I did it myself, and that's why I teach it. Now, on your side of the fence, if this is what you have in front of you in your life in some shape or form, and it's blocking what you believe is your key to getting to your twin flame path, what you would need to do is say, is there something in my power I could do right now? I might be scared because this could affect that happy journey, but is there something on this side I could eliminate to make that journey easier, regardless of what they're doing on their side, because we make excuses, right? So, and I know because I've done it myself. I'm like, yeah, but they're not doing the work. And it's like, yeah, but this life here that I'm living is pretty shitty. So these pebbles are starting to build up. What are these things, divine feminine? Is it communication and being an ego that it's like they did wrong by me, so I won't communicate? You can communicate without it having an attachment. And what does that look like? It could be blah, blah, blah. This happened in my life. Thinking of you. Take care. Then you're not saying, I want you to call me. And you can't have attachment of needing them to call you, but it could be an olive leaf. It can also just merely be a vibration. Are there also obstacles you haven't dealt with in some sense of a karmic cycle that you have been maybe hiding in a situation? And, some of you could give me some examples. Once you address those things, this is what you're moving towards so that the road can be clearer for this destiny, this heart space to become true. And sometimes it's feeling what is meant for me is always meant for me and it will always be mine. And knowing the worth in the heart, not the physical body, which we are going to be assessing because of these transits, but it's the heart space. It's the courage to ascend. It's operating in a masculine energy because we do have at the moment the eclipse in a masculine energy, which is what physically can we do? Can we assert ourselves? Can we mean what we say? Can we, this could be healthy boundaries with individuals. They're not going back to a doormat. No is a full sentence. No doesn't mean I don't love you. No means I can't do that. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Are there some no's that we need to say? Are there some paces? Where is the stalemate here? Is there something that we need to do in a trajectory that is going to take a bit of time? It's going to take some energy and passion. So where are those triggers coming from? Because the partnership is here. But some of these choices we need to make, we need to be careful how we're choosing, what to do, how we're navigating this, how we're dealing with the mirror. Because the outcome is a partnership. The outcome is this connection. But I do see you looking to the future. Both parties are doing this. It's like, right, we've got some obstacles here. We've got some mess. We've got some mess we need to sort out here. What do we need to iron out in a sense of this dynamic? Now, this I do feel is like the waiting room. The intuitive waiting room of a big change that is about to happen. And I think both parties are very, you may not feel like, yes, we're going to do this, but it's calling you. This is calling you for a big radical change, and it is going to be a big shift. You're definitely picking up on divine masculine's energy as well, but you're also spiritually embodying the divine masculine energy. Okay. What else can I say? Okay, plant those seeds. Funny, a few individuals were talking about seed planting. I would probably do it away from the eclipse. Okay. I have delayed. Definitely weather patterns are going to be funky. But from a harvest point of view, I do feel there are some new seeds we're planting. There's some new chapters coming. This also is showing me in a signature sense. I'm getting this as a karmic situation. Is that a karmic situation can be having a bit of a shake-up at the moment. And, sometimes it's these, sometimes when there's no communication, it's so that the masculine or feminine, whoever is dealing with this karmic situation, can reach closure that they planted and harvested a poor crop. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's karmic closes, definitely karmic closes. Yeah, acceptance of such. And I do feel masculine, especially in their cycle, there's been maybe a little bit of beating their heads against a wall, some guilt and some spiritual energy coming up, but I also feel it's returning to innocence. It's almost like getting to this space that they're reaching this spiritual acceptance of, I've tried to look at this various ways and maybe this was all I was meant for. And then really wanting to open that door to new beginnings and say, no, I'm so much more than this. Yeah, a lot of purges with the ego, to do with the past, to do with unhappiness. So yeah, really upgrading and wanting to choose a different way. This can feel like a spiritual test. And yes, there is potentials of using pacifiers. There can be some communication that is coming in towards you, divine feminine. I think you will be happy. Okay, this is going to be happiness. This is going to be a happy coincidence. It's going to be a happy situation. That for them, yes, it is not over between the both of you. What's crossing this situation? Oh, nothing. You. What's crossing it? That's interesting. Get stuff. Are you serious? Okay, so we got the partnership. We could be going from one energy to another to do with marriage contracts, partnerships, something you're going to be happy about. You won't be pining for. It's an old situation. Now, what could this be? Pluto. Okay. This is Pluto energy. Spiritually speaking, this could be an old situation coming up, something to be cleared. This could be karmic clearing. This also could be talking about the past to clear it, because what your intention is to not repeat the cycle in the same sense and to do something differently. And it looks to the past with the choices that we directly are making in clearing this karmic cycle so that we can do this properly. It's funny because, when I am seeing both Mars and Pluto energy, they're sending the same signature at the moment, and I don't care what astrologers say. I've seen too much evidence at the moment that's showing me we're getting a lot to do with Pluto and Aquarius. And what I'm seeing here is a new chapter. There is some communication. This can be movement, actions, words, gossip coming down the grapevine of a new chapter coming. And I said, what is crossing this? Now, this can be a karmic situation going out the door. This can be us being our worst enemies at times. And I'm going to pull another clarifier, because as I pulled the clarifier, we had the reunion card. I said, what's crossing it? The reunion card. Why is this an issue? Why is this an issue? Probably going to piss people off, aren't we? It's normal. Can't make everyone happy, and I think that is really the key. We can't make it, and it's not our jobs to make everyone happy. It is inevitably to, as we grow and ascend, to be the better versions of ourselves, to have love, kindness, empathy, but also the boundary. We could be cutting some people off. What is the situation? Yeah, it's going to piss some people off. Okay. There could be some showdowns here. You also could get signatures of things going down because of the intensity the people are feeling around you and the connection. There's a shift, and some individuals may not be happy with the shift that is about to occur, or the connection between both individuals, but there is a shift happening within both parties here. Because of that, it's pushing both parties closer together, not further away. But there is some energies here that are very pissed about it. So protect your aura. I think it's strong. I think it's a strong energy. I can't say I don't get a bad vibe, but I can't say, again, coming back to the vessel, you're in possession of a worthy vessel to handle this. It's almost like challenge taken. Okay, we're doing this. We're sticking up for ourselves. We're speaking out about what we want within the connection. Be it it's there or it's not, that's what we require. Talking about some old things, addressing the elephant in the room, not using our emotions to communicate this, but really our viewpoint and our desire for this to be something successful. So it's not coming through in a bitter, agitated, aggressive, horrible way. It's coming through with the intent of honesty. With separation and reunion, how that directly has affected you, what your goal and desire is to get to the root cause of these things so that you can have the healthiest connections. And I feel this is quite interesting because it does completely relate to the astrology and the purpose of Chiron, the wounded healer, how our wounds can actually turn into assets where we can help other people. And ironically enough, my Chiron is an Aries. Told you, health. Health, me sharing my energy of perspectives of my twin flame journey, my ascension, my awakening, how we can turn, it's alchemy. It's how we can turn wounds into, something that is quite resourceful. This person does have a lot of chemistry, but you want more than chemistry. The chemistry is going to pick up the sacral chakra energy. For the connection is going to pick up. It can accidentally cause jealousy in the person wanting to fight for you. Again, what we don't want is to get the runner-chaser mode going on. Sometimes what you can find is you pull back, they move in. They move in towards you, if that makes sense. What we don't want, I just keep hearing, what we don't want is the runner-chaser dynamic. There's going to be a portal you're having to move through that many of you may feel very uncomfortable about, but it keeps coming up in your psyche. And I do think that whatever these things are, if you don't address them, they can be problematic moving forward. And they're just making a reference to the point that it's so matter of fact, that it's so in your face what the situation is. And it's like you've mulled over it several times in your head. So it's something that you're completely aware of. I'd love to hear what that is for you. I'm going to read a couple of the comments. As to the super chats, I do have the schedule. What I am going to do is actually put the schedule up in public as well. And that's, I do believe I have started doing that. We are in a Mercury retrograde. So a lot of us that are in the members, they directly get the schedule. As I have time, I will do more. I am redoing a lot of content or reworking the type of content with the time I have. And what I'm wanting to do is very relevant content that is going to be something that's more evergreen content, information content that you can use in your day-to-day life. And it's going to be something that's very, very relevant. Energy updates, yes, I do want to do energy updates. That may be something, again, that is quality over quantity. More than likely, it will end up being a monthly energy update because there's a lot of education content I want to do relating to the past. Any final questions? I'll just read some of the chats. Definitely does look like it's going to be interesting. So I would follow the tips at the beginning of this video, because what we can find is those tips can actually guide us through. It's been scary healing, headaches, and third eye. We'll share some of the comments. That's why I can't be around the karmic anymore. I can't control my face. You're a dag. But again, when we transfer our energy, what we can find is things it will be like water off a duck's back. So when we deeply, deeply do deal with traumas, what we inadvertently can find is they don't define us. It's not so much they don't scare us. We actually, that vibration will also be how you view your twin, because it's the same signature and vibration. It's very common, Chris. You're just mirroring back the energy. Why did you not know what you wanted to do? Hi, love. Welcome. Yeah, a lot of us will spiritually be doing clearing. So definitely, as I mentioned, the zodiac's really going through transformations. This is a big portal. It is a big change. Not that we want to go into the scaremonger energy or anything to that degree, but I'll be covering the eclipse tonight. I'm going to go into potentially Sabian symbols, mythology, what I spiritually can see coming through. I'm going to cover your star sign, so I'm going to have a good cuppa. I have started drinking tea again. I do love my coffee. Coffee also, if you do want to protect yourself, very warm welcome, Jasmine. I love your name. I do. We do have super chats coming up this month. So if you subscribe, I'll have some super chats that are coming up. We also do have the members where I do coaching in there as well. And on my website, yes, I do have readings. So what we can have is spiritually there's big changes. So we're physically going to be going through new portals. We're going to have new beginnings. I'll give some of my predictions. I have on the blog post on the website actually put a lot of the predictions up, but we're going to cover everything down to the comet, what we see with CERN, the experiment that's going on, which is quite scientific in energy, the astrology, the portals, the eclipses, what the zodiac signs will be going through. Some of my tips may be for you. So if you want to join that, subscribe and come through and join us at the end. Yes, especially in any of the comments, if you have a direct question, I will always come back. As the channel grows, that may be more difficult, but at this point in time, if you do have a question that is relating to the video or something personal going on in your life, I will answer them free of charge. Take care. Hope to see you later, and I will be back for all the new things that I will be releasing to the public soon.